creepy greetings, and caffeine dreams. Welcome back to Creepy Coffees. I'm Eddie RavenScar.
And I'm Dawn RavenScar. Each week we pour a fresh cup of coffee and dive deep into tales of the paranormal. And this week we're heading far north, to the icy port town of Skagway, Alaska, where something lingers behind the swinging doors of the old Red Onion Saloon.
But first, let's step into Java Bean world. This week, our haunted brew hails from the misty mountains of Papua New Guinea's eastern highlands, courtesy of Atlas Coffee Club. And trust us, this one tastes like it was brewed by spirits in the fog. First sip impressions. This roast hits you with an earthy richness, deep, mossy, and just a little wild. Notes of brown sugar, cocoa, and ripe stone fruit creep across your tongue like a ghost gliding through an ancient jungle. There's a slight woodsy smokiness underneath, like the embers of a forgotten campfire.
It's smooth but untamed, like a spirit that doesn't realize it's haunting you yet. Perfect for early mornings when the sky is still dark, or for late nights when you're swapping ghost stories by candlelight. We recommend to pair it with haunted jungle tales and rainy nights and low thunder in episodes where you summon the courage. To turn off the lights, our final verdict: this coffee tastes like an ancient secret hidden under thick vines and mist. Rich, mysterious, and just a little dangerous. Exactly how we like our brew.
The Red Onion Saloon wasn't always just a quirky tourist stop. It was once a thriving brothel during the Klondike Gold Rush in the late 1890s. Skagway was flooded with men looking for fortune and entertainment. The Red Onion offered both.
The story behind the Red Onion Saloon is not the kind you would expect. A former pleasure house slowly turned into a site for hauntings and paranormal activities. Hence, let us dive deep into history to see what made the saloon what it is today. Stick around to find out more. Built in 1897, it was one of the classiest bordellos in Alaska, with 10 rooms upstairs and a madam who ran the operation. There was a unique doll system on the bar. Each doll represented a working girl. When a customer made a selection, the bartender would lay the doll down, signaling she was occupied. Today, the Red Onion still stands. It serves as a bar, restaurant, and museum, but employees and guests alike have reported something else: a presence, cold spots, footsteps, perfume, and whispers. One of the most famous spirits is believed to be a former madam named Lydia. She's been seen roaming the halls upstairs, especially near room 3rd. She leaves behind a scent of lavender, her favorite perfume.
The famous paranormal investigation agency NESPER claims that this site is one of the prominent paranormal hotspots. This means the location holds or acts as a portal for entities that are not of this realm. However, in order to properly understand the haunting, you need to understand the history that led to this. This will enable us to understand the causes or the driving force that led to this.
The story of the Red Onion Saloon started way back in 1896. The local miners discovered gold in a place called Klondike, located in the Yukon region of northwest Canada. Hitting a vein of gold in 1896 was a huge deal. As soon as the news spread, prospectors from Seattle and San Francisco flocked to this region. Sources suggest that approximately 10,000 people rushed to this small place of Klondike in just 3 years. However, most of these prospectors got nothing but dirt and death. But the town of Skagway benefited the most. The town of Skagway was nothing but a small outback town. But after the gold fever, it transformed into something different. In a short span of time, the town's population went from a few hundred to 30,000.
Most of the buildings in Skagway have a story to tell, but one building particularly has some really chilling instances to share. The Red Onion Saloon has become one of the most haunted residential buildings in North America. But was it a haunted house from the get-go, or did the place gradually start attracting the energies of dead people due to its history? Understanding this will eventually help us get to the bottom of the hauntings of the Red Onion Saloon. The Red Onion Saloon has served many purposes over the years. Maybe this is why the location has become a hotspot for paranormal activities. The saloon primarily started out as a popular dance hall. Locals used to flock to the halls of the saloon for dancing and indulging in all kinds of vices. Men would often come to the bar and see 10 dolls enclosed in a glass display. These dolls represented the females that are working, If the doll is kept up, it means that the respective female is free at the moment. And if the doll is lying down, it means that the female is busy. A weirdly sophisticated way to manage customers.
The Red Onion Inn was not a place for children. It was a grim and gritty place that had many faces and had seen a lot of stories. During the gold fever, a lot of men flocked to the region of Klondike. Not all of them were pleasant to be around. According to old government records, the town of Skagway was a lawless place. In fact, a criminal named Soapy Smith used to run a gang in operations in this town. As a result, murder and mayhem was the norm of the day. Moreover, females only made up 8% of the total population in Skagway. Sources claimed that there were 300 females for 15,000 males. Therefore, violent crimes against females were very common. And maybe this is the reason why female spirits are predominant in the halls of the Red Onion Saloon. At one point, the saloon served as a brothel for the population of Skagway. Countless courtesans served the guests, but the spirit of Diamond Lil Davenport still haunts the wooden hallways of the saloon. People claim that Davenport immigrated to America after a failed marriage. She started out as a singer in a bordello. Eventually, she went on to become one of the most famous courtesans of this haunted ex-brothel. Remarkably, Davenport did not face an untimely death. In fact, sources claim that she died miles away in a nursing home in 1975. However, as soon as Davenport died, hauntings of this saloon began. Another ghost that seems to plague the halls of this old saloon is the ghost of Lydia, but not much is known about her. Unlike Davenport, Lydia is not confirmed to be a real person. In fact, whatever information we have is circumstantial or rumors. It is believed that Lydia was a former prostitute who worked in this saloon for years. She is one of the benevolent spirits of this saloon. She often leaves a scent of lilac and gooseberries. Also, the room that she frequents is said to have some specific cold spots. It is widely believed that Lydia contracted syphilis and eventually succumbed to it. The second theory is that she committed suicide, but this is not a confirmed report. However, it is believed that the room she frequents is the room that she eventually took her life.
Staff have reported hearing disembodied footsteps, even when the upstairs is closed off. Glasses fly off shelves, cold breezes come out of nowhere, and some have seen a woman's figure disappear through walls. There's also the story of the man in black, who is often seen at the end of the bar glaring silently. When approached, he vanishes. They say he was a miner who died in a drunken brawl near the saloon in 1902.
Picture this. It's 1898. The Klondike Gold Rush is in full swing. Thousands of men flood into Skagway, desperate to make their fortune, and standing proudly on the bustling streets is the Red Onion Saloon, part bar, part brothel, all business. The Red Onion wasn't just any old saloon. It was considered one of the classiest, most exclusive gentlemen's clubs in town. 10 beautiful women worked upstairs, each with their own little parlor room.
The way it worked is a little weird and creative. A man would walk in and choose a doll from a shelf behind the bar, each doll dressed to look like one of the working women upstairs. If the doll was standing up, the lady was available. If the doll was lying down, well, she was busy. Dawn, pretty clever, and also a little creepy if you ask me. It said some of those dolls still move today. And no, we're not talking about clever tricks. Paranormal investigators have reported dolls shifting positions on their own with no explanation.
Let's talk about some verifiable first-hand accounts. In 2005, a bartender closing alone heard footsteps upstairs and thought someone had stayed behind. When she checked, no one was there, but a window that had been sealed shut for years was wide open. Another guest, staying in the brothel museum room, reported feeling someone sitting on the edge of the bed in the middle of the night. When she turned on the light, no one was there, but the impression on the sheets remained.
There are dozens of these reports, from tourists, staff, even paranormal investigators. Some come for the beer, others leave with chills. Many believe the Red Onion is home to several lingering spirits, but none as famous as Lydia. Lydia is thought to be a former madam or one of the working women. People have seen her apparition gliding across the second floor, wearing a flowing dress, her presence accompanied by the scent of lilac perfume. Staff and visitors have also heard footsteps when no one else is around. Cold spots appear out of nowhere, and sometimes the sound of laughter echoes through empty halls. One terrifying encounter involved a tour guide feeling a sudden invisible shove while standing at the top of the stairs. They swear a force tried to push them down, almost as if the building itself didn't want them there. There are even reports of objects moving on their own, bottles clinking, chairs dragging, doors slamming.
Over the years, paranormal teams have visited the Red Onion and captured some seriously creepy evidence. EVP recordings caught disembodied voices saying things like, "Get out and help me." And one photo taken in the upstairs brothel rooms shows a faint figure standing behind a window, staring outward. Thing is, that window had been boarded up for decades. It's not just Lydia either. Some visitors have reported feeling the touch of unseen hands, especially around the waist or shoulders, like a flirtatious madam still working the crowd, or warning you to leave.
The theories behind the haunting. What keeps these spirits here? Some believe the strong emotions of the gold rush era, greed, lust, heartbreak, and tragedy, created a kind of psychic scar on the building. Others think certain objects inside the Red Onion act like paranormal anchors, particularly the original dolls and mirrors that witnessed everything back then. Or maybe it's Lydia's undying connection to the Red Onion itself. Maybe she loved her life there, or maybe she's still searching for someone she lost. All right, Dawn. Time to put on our paranormal investigator hats. What's your theory?
I think Lydia's real. And I think the energy of that building, the laughter, the music, the heartbreak, created a permanent loop. It's not just a haunting, it's a memory playing over and over. I'm leaning toward the idea of intelligent hauntings, spirits that know they're there, especially with how many staff members report interacting with unseen forces. Whatever it is, the Red Onion Saloon remains one of the most active, haunted places in Alaska.
That's our brew for today, creeps and coffee lovers. Thanks for sharing your cup and your chills with us.
If you ever find yourself wandering the historic streets of Skagway, pop into the Red Onion Saloon, have a drink, take the tour, stop by our creepy corner spot, tell them Creepy Coffee said hi, and we will see them again soon, and maybe, just maybe, catch a glimpse of Lydia yourself. If you have been to the Red Onion Saloon, drop us a note. Let us know what you thought. Let us know if you've seen anything odd, or if you even ran it to us when we were there. We would love to hear from you.
Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave us a review if you love getting spooked over your morning coffee. Or follow us on our website at www.creepycoffees.com. Download us where you down your podcast and take us with you everywhere. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram at Creepy Coffees. And remember,
Stay creepy.